Hello, Tiger fans, and welcome to this week's edition of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. My name is Ben Rosenbaum, filling in for Spiro Marikis, but as always, joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Sean Nadalin. Coach, thanks for being back with us.
My pleasure.
All right, so game one under your belt, an 11-10 loss to the rival Johns Hopkins. Just your thoughts, your first game out there. At times you could tell maybe it was the first time actually playing. Your first game, 21 turnovers on the game, but you guys kept it close and were in it to the very end and had a chance to win with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that's a silver lining in it. Kind of being able to assess the game, coming out of the game. Way too sloppy, way too many turnovers. Uncharacteristic in regards to how we want to play. So that was frustrating, even though it was the first game and those jitters and not being able to be as clean and crisp, it was still more than we felt like we needed to, especially in the clearing game. And that just allowed them to get possession after possession after possession, more defense on our end. And then that was, that was troublesome, but the fact that we had a chance at the end, was a good thing at the same time.
Yeah, you look at the way the scoring played out throughout it. Hopkins able to string 4 together at one point, and they were able to have a couple of multi-goal runs. You had the 3 goals in under a minute in the third, but it was that run from Hopkins, and then at that point on, you guys were just trading goals and weren't able to kind of get any closer at that point. How do you look forward to now, okay, we have to try to stop teams from being able to string a bunch together?
Yeah, that's the game of lacrosse. It's a game of runs. It's a known thing, and then ours is doing our best to not allow teams to go on runs, to have answers, if a team scores on you, to be able to get that next one and really not allow them to get more than 2, which they were able to do, and we created a lot of that. So I was proud of our guys that we weathered the storm a few times and that we continued to stay close enough and to, within striking distance. And again, give ourselves an opportunity at the end, but we need to be much better at managing the game moving forward.
One big positive to come away from that, though, and now the cat's out of the bag, was Ronan Fitzpatrick, the redshirt freshman, 5 goals for him. He had played very little in the game against Navy last year, but before that, no one had ever really seen him. Mm-hmm. What did you expect from him going into this year, and then how would you assess his play last night?
We really had no idea, to be honest with you. He was a guy that throughout last year was kind of up and down within our team, and didn't really do much for us at the end of the spring last year. Came back in the fall, after working really hard on himself physically and personally to be back in a better space. And I'm really proud of Ronan, and being able to see him continue to scrap all fall, get his feet back underneath him, and then be able to really get his first opportunity the second half against Bucknell, our last scrimmage. He goes out there and gets 4 goals and 2 assists in a half, in the second half of that game. And that was exciting, but we didn't know if that would really carry over, and then fortunately it has.
Yeah, and then last night, 7 shots on goal, 5 goals. What was he doing? Obviously no more Nick DeMeo, so you need that other complement to Mikey and the rest of the offensive unit. What was he doing last night that was allowing him to have those opportunities and that success?
He was being aggressive, and being able to be confident in his shot. I think, building off of Bucknell, probably gave him that. And he's young, so I think he's one of those guys that at the moment doesn't really, he's not really fully aware of what's going on, so he's not apprehensive. He's just an aggressive type of guy. So, he got his opportunities, racked a guy in one of them, got a couple nice shots, crease on the slot and those things. So he was making the most of his opportunities. Guys were finding him as well, and he was learning how to play, within our offense.
Then on the other side of the field, defensively, Luke Downs, the goalkeeper. How would you assess him? 11 goals against, but also 11 saves for Luke.
Yeah, he was solid. They got some firepower for sure. Chauvet can let it fly. Collison can let it fly. He made a couple timely saves. The first one where the ball trickled through, we had gotten a piece of it, kind of rolled to Chauvet on the backside. That's, anybody that's seen him play, that's pretty much automatic. And then Downsy stood tall, got it. I think for him, that was a big first one to get. And, he was able to stay with us there. And, again, we gave them some nice opportunities, which they capitalized on, but he also stole a couple.
Yeah, and we talked about it at the beginning, the 21 turnovers, sloppy play. how much do you say, okay, we've got to go back and work on some things, or how much do you attribute it to first game jitters? You're playing Hopkins at home, you're trying to make a play.
Yeah, we don't want to let the first game jitters and stuff. That's not what this was about. Like this is we got to address this more, and this is we need to be better and build off of this. We weren't great in practice. That was the thing coming out of the game. It's like, well, all week leading into it, we just weren't sharp. We weren't playing with a lot of confidence and flow. So the way the game unfolded wasn't too surprising to me. So we got to find a way to be better in practice, to have that confidence, and then just to be more certain in what we're doing and how we're doing it, to be able to play loose but focused, and with good ball security.
All right, well, the beauty of it, that was just game one, and you get another chance here on Monday at 5 o'clock. Up in a place where you just got done playing, it seems like yesterday, taking on Syracuse in the JMA Wireless Dome. Obviously, Syracuse, a lot of firepower there too. Number 2 team in the country right now, returning a lot as well. What do you look at when you see Syracuse just beat Jacksonville 24-5?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their shooting percentage was in that game, but it looked like on film that it was very high. So their offense, again, is a group that's played together for quite a few years now. A lot of continuity and chemistry with those guys. So we got to be at our best on the defensive end. If we can really control that at the faceoff X, where we didn't do our best in the NCAA game last year against them. If we can, get ourselves back on track there. We didn't have a great first game against Hopkins as well. So being able to be better at the middle of the field with the face-off, as well as be able to make some stops on the defensive end, is going to be important.
Yeah, face-offs were big last year in the NCAA tournament game against Syracuse. Defensively for the Orange, they're returning almost every starter defensively. New goalie for them this year, but we talked about having to take care of the ball. How do you stress that this is a very experienced defensive unit, and we have to be on our P's and Q's here when we take on Syracuse?
Yeah, I think the message for our guys, coming out of the Hopkins games, is just we gotta play cleaner lacrosse and more efficient lacrosse. So again, we're going to take pride in our possessions, whether it be through the middle of the field and face off, or clearing the ball out of the defensive end, or offensively. So continuing to stay in attack mode, but also being prideful in how we are taking care of the ball and possessing the ball. And we got the pieces in place, and we got the units to be able to be productive on all over the field. We just got to be able to play to our level and execute at a high level.
All right. The Tigers will take on Syracuse Monday at 5 o'clock. For more news and notes on the Tigers lacrosse team, make sure to head over to towsontigers.com. For the head coach, Sean Nadalin, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us. And as always, go Tigers.